thoughts, but another man has been looking at that game. Jamie, what did you make of it all?
Yeah, Catherine, well, Wales's victory in Rome was certainly built on very strong foundations. Firstly, their set piece. Secondly, very clinical with ball in opposition 22. Thirdly, probably more importantly, their defence. Jonathan's already mentioned it. Quite relaxed in their defensive approach. I think they knew early doors that the only threat Wales oppose is probably to themselves by giving away contact area penalties. At times throughout the games, they didn't even bother competing. Happy to absorb, not even competing for the ball at the breakdown and risk giving away a penalty. The line discipline was spot on and happy to just shield Italy across to the touchline on this occasion. George North, Josh Adams holding him into touch. When they did threaten opposition 22, John Davis, big player, coming up with a big rip, and that was the only time Italy really threatened. What else was evident is their ability to shift the ball off turnover ball. Josh Navidi, Dan Biggar, Liam Williams putting George North and Josh Adams into space. Again, turnover ball here, and this is just wonderful play. Dan Biggar, Liam Williams. The ball is the opposite side of the pitch within less than 5 seconds. Out to their fastest player in their team, Lewis Rees-Zammit. Again, Italy turnover here. Liam Williams has a look, nothing on. Who's scanning already? Justin Tipuric, George North, top of screen. Justin comes to first receiver, get the ball in George North's hands, and this eventually leads to the Lewis Rees-Zammit try that was chalked off for that Dan Biggar forward pass. Talking to Dan Biggar, this is as good a kick from an outside half as you'll see. 27-0 up, 30 minutes on the clock. You don't want to overplay in that middle third. And Wales' ability to do this next weekend is going to be huge, OK? Dan Biggar doesn't compete on this one, but Faletau straight over the ball, turnover, and Wales just fed off that all game. Now, as I said, Wales' dominance was founded on their set piece. I'm back. I'm not going to talk about it. I'll leave that to Ryan.
Thanks, Jamie. But, you know, I didn't like to be in too many set pieces either. But here we go. So Wales' dominance up front yesterday meant that they were able to utilise their line-out maul in a variety of ways. So not only was it an attacking threat to launch first phase back play, it was a driving maul that's resulted in tries, and also it became a real defensive weapon. Here we see Ken Owens, who's back in the fold, world-class hooker. Set Italy up early, so we got a little funny play. Now, this just keeps Italy guessing. Then we get deep into Italy's 22. We've got a perfectly executed line-out. Under huge pressure, the maul regresses a yard, but it's still the composure they've shown. We highlighted Wyn Jones here. Look at the pressure he's under. He's staying in the fight. His attitude is there. He takes out 4 Italian players, which just opens up for Ken to score a try. This is superb. This is the one I like. This is my favourite. With 20, just outside Wales is 22, but they're able to turn what is a defensive maul into a real attacking threat. Decide not to play off this slightly later, but this gets you the opposition retreating and puts Wales on the front foot. This is going to be so important. And throughout the game yesterday, we saw what I think was a training run for what's coming Saturday. They know they're going to have to take on France up front, and they're going to have to be very, very good in this area.
I think it's the selection showed going into yesterday what the same team as next we'll talk about later, but you know, building on what they've done in that kind of practice match to take it on to the next game. I think if you look at it, the line-out's improved, as I said, the scrum's improved. We look solid. The front five's gone well this year, but also all of a sudden we've got great ball carriers and balance. You know, you've got Navidi, you've got Faletau, you've got Ken Jones, Wyn Jones is carrying. But for me, you know, everyone's, you know, George North has been an amazing player, but I think he could get even better in that position. He is such an asset to Wales, right? And the more he has the ball, you can't cope with him. You know, he is just a unique player. And I think the more we get him on the ball in the centre, the stronger and more important Wales will get.
He's looking very comfortable there at the moment, isn't he, George North?
He is, and I think that centre combination is starting to bed in. We saw that Jonathan Davis broke through the gain line, lovely little offload, read well by George North, so they're sort of reading one another, which is what you want. But I'm also loving Callum Sheedy coming on in the second half, especially with Willis Halaholo. I think they have the opportunity there to actually change the game plan, change some tactics. We saw Willis slot in at fly half. Brilliant with that little hitch kick, keeps the defence guessing, and then Callum Sheedy, who we know attacks so well at the line, can then have that opportunity, but that little bit further out. So I'm really liking that sort of addition as well. Just building on that, you know, I think what we saw yesterday was what Stephen Jones and Wayne Pivac have been set out to do from the outset. So if you look at the way Wales play, they're adopting what is almost an all-black-esque Southern Hemisphere type pod system. We saw Toby in a wide channel, we saw Ken Owens in a wide channel, we saw
ball handling forwards use as decoy runners, or we saw the deep circle ball for Callum Sheedy's try later on. So they're playing with real intent. Jamie touched on it earlier as well. They're looking for transition from defence into attack really quickly. When they turn the ball over, they're transitioning back into defence really quickly. This is the core of what Stephen and Wayne set out to do. And the balance of the team is really sort of settled and complemented. We talk about continuity of selection. So we've got people like George in midfield, but you've got real predators like Josh, Liam, you've got Louis there, just ready for half break, get your hands free. You know, they're going to score points.
And also, with Gatland, they'd wrap and go the same way. Yeah. If you notice now, they go midfield. So they'll go to midfield and then they look at options to go which way they go. And if they keep the width as they have, what happens is it stretches the defence, so the bigger gaps in between each player. So if you instead of you run the arm then, not the shoulder, and you get over the gain line, which makes it so much easier to give forwards targets, and they're always on the front foot. And for me, that has been the big difference. They're actually on the front foot in the Six Nations when they've had opportunities, rather than being like flat-footed and looking at things to do in the autumn, which is great to watch.
What are we calling this? Wayne Ball, yes? Not Warren Ball.
Wayne's World.
Wayne's World, of course, of course. Right then, I think Jamie's going to get some more reaction now. Who have you got, Jamie?
Colin.